Good evening, Mr. Moses. Hello. I don't know about that, but me, I can't hear you from here.
Can you hear me now? What about now? Can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
Yes, that's come up now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
I hope you're fine, sir.
Well, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Now, so I was saying that some people have started doing their listening, although with my knowledge, listening and reading with my knowledge. So, but I'm sure, well, whether with or without my knowledge, I'm sure some people would have started doing their listening and reading. So, what has been your experiences in your listening and your reading so far? And then we move from there. So that's what my question is, and I'm expecting that we respond. So can we respond now?
So, like for me, one thing that I discovered is that one has to listen very, very carefully. I've tried to go through some of the video clips, the listening clips, but truthfully, I missed out some point. And you know, it's time you play back again to you. So if you missed that one, you missed it.
Yeah.
So I have to be truthful. I missed out some person. I couldn't hear the words clearly. But on the average, I think I was able to get like maybe 70 to 80%. Those who have tried to listen to and to make response to. So,
Okay, 70 to 80%. Can I get maybe an average of what you scored? What's the highest and what's the lowest? Sir.
okay, I will have to look at my book so and get back to you on that.
All right. So any other person?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other person? Or
hello.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. For listening, I'm comfortable to an extent with the listening, but one of my challenges, one of the sections is that the one you have to put in some words, you have to, I think there are so many options you have to fill in. That should be that listening, I can't remember again. You have to fill in and at the same time listen.
Okay, where they ask you to put in a word, okay?
Not exactly. There are some that you have more than one option.
Is it multiple question essay? Is it multiple question? Is it multiple question?
So.
Multiple question.
Yes. Okay.
Is it multiple question?
I guess so. I can't remember again. But the other one is the map. I'm not really consistent. Once I miss one, it's difficult to get back on track for the map. But I'm generally comfortable. I still go between 34 to 40. Over
okay.
40.
Okay. All right. So what about reading?
That one. It's this, what is it called? There's this one you have to choose. The other one that looks like heading, but it's not heading. You have to choose some words that summarizes the passage, the section. That's the one I have issues with.
That summarize the question.
It summarizes a section, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They will now write just one sentence about the whole section.
Okay, one sentence about the whole section.
It's like, exactly. That's putting the correct summary, sha. And you can use one option more than once.
It's that's it's
application.
Okay, locating.
It looks like heading. It's like heading. It's not heading.
Locating information question. You locate where the information is.
Yes.
Okay, so if you typically have issues with heading, do you have issues with choosing heading?
Not so much compared to this one. This one is more challenging for me.
Okay. So any other person? All right. Okay. Those people who may not be able to respond with voice, maybe you can type and we'll see your chat. But I'm taking what I'm taking for those people who just joined. I'm trying to check whether some people have started their listening and reading, and to see whether there are particular areas of difficulty that they have noticed in their listening and their reading. Okay, please. So if you care to share, just let's have your contribution. And if there's none, please, you are free to interject if I continue speaking and you probably had issues with network and was trying to come on with your contribution. So just feel free to unmute your mic and interject so that we can have your contribution. So like I said earlier, we would not go beyond 9 p.m. Going forward. So we will talk about all of these items. Okay, now okay. Now in ILTS, usually I teach listening and reading together. Sorry, this is not result, reading. I teach listening and reading together because of their closeness in the nature. Okay, words, but closeness in nature of their question types. So we treat them together. All right. So and we need to understand that the first 6 questions, there are different kinds of question types that different people peddle. Okay, and British Council themselves have a plethora of these questions. I think they kind of like have the say that their questions are let's say 16 question types for 16 question type for reading, and 10 question types for listening. However, some of those question types, as far as I'm concerned, are more or less repetition. So, but so in other words, I prefer to look at the question type as let's say being 6 listening question types and 10 reading question types. So the 6 question types that are for listening are also in reading. So if you can see what I'm looking at here, you have listening. Under listening, you have, okay, maybe we should just go through this together. Let's go through this together. These parts of the Cambridge material. The test consists of 4 sections, each with 10 questions. The first 2 sections are concerned with social needs. The first section is a conversation between 2 speakers, and the second section is a monologue. Okay, all right. I just want to expand that so that people can have a good clearer. So, the first section is a conversation between 2 speakers, and the second section is a monologue. The final 2 sections are concerned with situations related to education or training contexts. Okay. The third section is a conversation between up to 4 people, and the fourth section is a monologue, which means it's one person talking. that's going to talk. So a variety of question type is used, including multiple choice question. You have matching, you have plan, map, diagram labeling, you have form completion, note completion, table completion, flowchart completion. All of that, I would prefer to just put them under one. So we have multiple choice question, plan, map, or diagram labeling, form completion, note completion, form completion, table completion, flowchart completion are all under one. Then, so that you have one, matching is 2. All this completion is 3. Okay. Then summary completion 4. Sentence completion 5, and short answer question 6. Okay. So all these completions are, as far as I'm concerned, under the same what's it called now? The same question type. Of course, a British Council recognizes them as individuals, but I think they have some very common denominators on how to get through to their answers. You find out that they are somewhat like diagram, and there are going to be spaces, words missing, so they are going to be blanks. Okay, so whether plan or map, diagram labeling, or form completion, or note completion, or table completion, or flowchart completion. All right, so that makes number 3. Then summary completion number 4, sentence completion number 5, and short answer question number 6. So candidate can hear the recording once only and answer the questions as they listen. 10 minutes are allowed at the end for candidates to transfer their answers to the answer sheet. So that is that you just have those 6 category of question types in your task 1, in your listening test. You have those category of type of questions in your listening test. Okay, now your reading tests. Let's go to your reading. You find out that some of these things that were mentioned up there are also in this place. So as far as I'm concerned, those 6 combinations, we just put all of those 6 combinations as the first 6 in your what's it called now, in your reading. They are going to be the first 6 in your reading. Then with the addition of 4 different distinct reading types, distinct reading question types. So if we look at this, you have this test consists of 3 sections with 40 questions. The texts are taken from notices, advertisements, and leaflets, newspapers, instruction manuals, books, and magazines. The first section contains text relevant to basic linguistic survival in English, with tasks mainly concerned with providing factual information. The second section focuses on the work context and involves now this part we are reading, what we are reading here is basically for general. So let's be very, very careful with this. All that we're reading here is just has to do with general content. There's notices, adverts, leaflets, newspapers, instruction manuals. You just bought a material, instruction manual that comes with it, books and magazines. The first section contains text relevant to basic linguistic survival in English, with tasks mainly concerned with providing factual information. Then you have the second section focuses on the work context and involves texts of more complex language. The third section involves reading more extended text with a more complex structure, but with the emphasis on descriptive and instructive rather than argumentative text. So the variety of question type used. So our concern here is question type. So the variety of question types used. You have multiple choice. You have it also in listening. Identify information question, which is true, false, not given. Identify the writer's views or claims, which is yet no, not given. We put all of that under one. Both true, false, not given, yes and not given are just one. Okay. Matching information. I think we saw that in listening. So that makes two questions that is common to listening and reading. Matching heading. This one is not in listening. That's where you choose a particular topic that goes for a particular paragraph. So matching headings. Then we go for matching features. There's no such thing in listening. So matching sentence and endings. So that does not have anything to do, or that does not reflect in listening. Sentence completion. Yes, sentence completion, that makes three. Sentence completion is also peculiar to listening. Summary completion is also peculiar to listening. Then that means we have at sentence completion, that was a three. Summary completion, that was 4. Note completion, that was 5. Table completion, 6. Okay, we said note, table, flowchart completion, are all 1. So that's 4. Then we have short answer question. That makes 5. So you find out that several other ones that were not mentioned, are there. So we have, let's see the ones one after the other that are in the listening. You have multiple choice. You have matching information. We saw that. Sentence completion, that makes 3. Summary completion 4. Note completion 5. Table completion 6. Flowchart completion 7. Diagram labeling, maybe we should add that. Then short answer question, and so that those are the ones that are in listening and also in reading. So we have that. So whatever we talk about in the first 6 items that we're going to be talking about, let's have the understanding that those first 6 also apply to the first 6 list in the reading. They also apply to the first 6 in reading. So you must have that understanding. So because this is a general material, let's quickly look at what academics has to offer, what we have under academic question. So let's quickly see. So I think, okay, I probably brought up academics in general in academics. So 11 is a bit, so let's go. Okay, so yeah. So let's see. Okay, there we go. So apologies for the inscription, the Arabic Chinese inscription. So a variety of question, multiple choice, identify information, true, false, not given, identifying the writer's view, yes, no, not given, matching information, matching headings, matching features, matching sentence endings, sentence completion, summary completion, note completion, table completion, flowchart completion, diagram label completion, and short answer questions are just exactly as you have it in the previous one. But let's see what this one has to say, the type of content that you'll be having in an academic reading test. This test consists of 3 sections. Before the question, there are 3 texts which are taken from journals, books, magazine, and newspapers. So the texts are on topics of general interest. At least one text contains detailed logical arguments. So at least one text contains detailed logical arguments. So I think you need to understand that. So all of this, about 4 items, they are going to be as much as, the length are going to be as much as 500, from 700 to 900 words. They are quite long and extensive. So one should be able to read as much as possible. But now, let me say this, that reading everything is not the idea of passing. You are not going to pass if you read everything. So you are only going to pass except you are a super fast reader. You are only going to pass if only you know how to, you know where and when. Let's not put it on a general note. You know where and when to use skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning is a particular skill, but it's not a general skill. It's not to be used generally. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that in a moment, but we need to stay or go off and come back, and please try as much as possible to join the class immediately. Just join immediately, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much, because the time we soon be out. So thank you.